The big Republican overreach this year is having disastrous results for Republicans at the polls. Everywhere that Republican governors are pushing union stripping measures, the public is not only pretty dramatically against that policy, pretty dramatically against union stripping, but they're turning pretty dramatically against the Republicans who are pushing for that, too. Nationally, it's the Democratic Party's challenge to make that translate in November. This November and preferably next November, too. But, you know, in Wisconsin, November seems to be coming early. November coming early in Wisconsin looks like this.
I'm 85 years old, but I have never seen anything like this.
We've been working recall efforts against the Republicans. This is the beginning of a movement.
People open the door gladly and say, we heard you were out in the community, and we've been waiting for you to come over here and get our signature.
Our governor decides to give $117 million in tax breaks to the corporations, and now they want to make cuts to education. I can see class size going up to 35 to 40 kids in a class.
As a Republican my entire life, I'm appalled at what Scott Walker and the Republicans did. This hurts my family. It's about my kids in school.
Whether you're a college student like me or a kindergartner, the Republicans are hurting everyone.
This is for my children. This is for my wife. This is for my friends, my neighbors. This is for our community.
Republicans declared war on the middle class. And with this recall campaign, we are fighting back, and we're going to win.
It was the Progressive Change Campaign Committee that posted this ad today. They posted it and said they wanted to raise $100 grand to run it. And then boink, next time I checked, they got their $100 grand. Their little $100,000 thermometer was all the way to the top. You guys need a bigger thermometer. But in Wisconsin, where public opinion is very, very strongly against the Republicans' union stripping bill, the fight is not just electoral, it is also legal. Republicans passed the bill by taking the unusual step of stripping it out of the budget, even though they had called it their budget repair bill. They relabeled the thing non-fiscal. They said it did not, therefore, require a quorum to pass it. And then while Democrats said that what they were doing was illegal, Republicans voted alone on their own without a larger quorum to pass it. And then they called it law. A Wisconsin judge ruled otherwise, issuing an injunction blocking the bill from officially becoming law until the question of whether it was passed legally could be sorted out. Scott Walker's administration effectively ignored the judge's ruling. They said, you know, we think the bill is law, and they started to implement it. Today, the judge ruled again, saying that her earlier ruling must have been, quote, either misunderstood or ignored. This time, the judge said with some insistence that the union stripping law is, in fact, not in effect in Wisconsin. It is enjoined. Remarkably, after this second ruling, the Scott Walker administration still declared that they're going ahead with implementing the new union stripping law, which makes me think maybe we should stop calling it a law, because this doesn't seem legal. Joining us now for the interview is the Wisconsin Secretary of State, Doug LaFollette. Mr. Secretary, thank you for your time tonight. I know you're a very busy man.
It's great to be here, Rachel, and to talk to you and the people across America.
Let me ask you if I got anything wrong in my introduction there. I know this has been a fast-moving and at times confusing process. Did I screw anything up there?
No, you pretty much got it right. It's pretty complicated. But the summary you made is what's going on. The administration decides to ignore the court ruling and try to make this act law by sort of a back way doing it. And I think they should be seriously punished by the court for what they're doing.
In terms of that specific issue of publishing it, as I understand it, it is your responsibility as Secretary of State to publish laws formally, which allows them to start taking effect. And now, am I right that the judge's ruling blocked you from publishing the law, but the Walker administration went around your office and just had another part of the state government publish it instead and called that making it law?
Well, that's right, but there's more to it than that. The normal procedure would be I'd receive the act, I'd schedule publication, and I did that under the law. Then the judge issued a temporary restraining order. But the restraining order said two things. It said she blocked any further implementation of the law and enjoined the Secretary of State from publishing. So there's two parts. And the Walker administration totally ignored the first part. She said no further implementation. And the Secretary of State should not publish it.
Now that the judge has so emphatically reiterated what seems to have been the terms of her earlier injunction, how do you expect that the Walker administration is going to react, what they're going to do next?
I don't know. They've already behaved quite erratically, a little irresponsible, I believe, to ignore the orders of the court. They seem, pardon my language, hell-bent to get this passed. And from my point of view, as Secretary of State, there's sort of two parts of this. My responsibility to publish the law or not based on court orders and following the rules. The other part of my thinking as a many-year statewide elected official is the substance of that law. It's wide-sweeping, gives the governor 37 new political appointees, changes health care, strips unions of their ability to discuss class size or working conditions. This is a major step backward for what I've always dreamed of as Wisconsin, of a progressive state. And so the substance of it is very, very disconcerting to me. But the Walker administration seems, as I said, hell-bent to push this thing through.
In terms of how hell-bent they are, I wonder if there's going to be a serious and expensive legal path for the Walker administration in trying to force this change through the way they have been approaching it so far. Do they have other options for making this into law that would be less expensive, less of a hassle, more direct for the state?
Exactly. Exactly. And I've been saying that for the last 2 weeks. Today, the judge said it. The judge said she doesn't understand why they just don't go back and start over and do it right. Introduce the same bill, hold the public hearing, give the proper notice, let the public comment, and then pass it if they have the votes. The governor can sign it. It'll come to my office, and if it's done properly, I would publish it. The judge said, why are we wasting thousands of dollars of taxpayers' money all this time when they could just do it over and do it right?
Why do you think that they are not doing it that way? Do you have any insight?
Well, I'm not sure I have any more insights other than the fact that I've been in politics now for many years. They may not have the votes. At this point, we know what's in the bill. We didn't when they had that sort of quick, possibly open meeting violation get-together one night, and they pushed this thing through. Now the public and many legislators, including Republicans and Democrats, know much more about this legislation, and there might not be enough votes to pass it a second time.
Doug LaFollette, Wisconsin Secretary of State. I've wanted to talk to you about this for a long time, sir. I'm thankful for your time tonight. Thank you.
Great. Enjoyed it.
Thanks.